Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Yes, I know, 2 videos in a row. What am I doing? Is the consistency changing? Well, I wouldn't hold your breath, guys. In fact, I'll probably be gone another 6 months. But nevertheless, let's get on to today's video. So today's video is talking about not only Mr. Miyagi, but comparing Mr. Miyagi against Olaf, a JDM EP3. And this JDM EP3 actually belongs to Aaron. Well, when I'm filming this, he doesn't actually know he owns this. But by the time I upload this video, he will full well know he is a proud owner of a JDM EP3. Kindly, his wife purchased this for him, and it is a replacement to his IB for FR. But onto the video. If you don't already know, I uploaded a comparison video a few months ago of Mr. Miyagi and a standard EP3 Premier Edition from Honda UK. Now that video has gone down a treat, and I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone that's been supporting it. And I thought, well, whilst I've got these 2 cars together, why not do another comparison video? Of course, I'm not actually going to be driving either cars because this is actually not on the road anymore, and this doesn't belong to me, and it'd be unfair me driving Aaron's car before he does. So yeah, it's just going to be a static chat video, more focusing on Olaf because, let's be frank, I've already bored you to death with Mr. Miyagi. So yeah, let's get on to finding out the differences between these 2. So here we are, Olaf, the JDM EP3. It's quite a cool little thing, I have to admit. Just it set in the championship white paintwork, just makes it a very special car. But back to Olaf himself. So this is actually a JDM car, Japanese domestic market, which is short for JDM. So this was actually built only for the Japanese. But, however, it was built here in the UK at the Swindon plant, which is quite ironic really, because now we've just imported it all the way back from Japan here to the UK. So it was built in Swindon, imported to Japan, lived in Japan for pretty much all its life, then shipped back here many years later to the UK, where it's now greeted with Aaron. So yeah, it's pretty cool really. But with the exterior, as we're talking about it, there is no real difference with the normal EP3, i.e. Mr. Miyagi, to this, apart from, of course, as I mentioned before, the championship white paintwork, which was only available when you was buying a JDM car. So the lucky Japanese were the only people that could spec their car in championship white. Now, there are rumours that with the JDM cars, you could actually pick other colours. I've not yet seen one, so correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, that would be cool if we'd see a Manano red or a cosmic grey JDM car. That would be awesome. But yeah, exterior, there's not really too much to talk about. Yeah, just the paintwork, and the paintwork is fab. It's absolutely mega. Credit to whoever owned this before. Yeah, it's a cracking car. So yeah, now let's move on to the engine, where a lot more has changed. So guys, the engine. Now you may be thinking, well, there's not really anything to compare, but there is. So with the engine, it actually uses a different engine, believe it or not, to the UK EP3s. Now, saying different, it doesn't look different. It looks exactly the same, hence your confusion. But it's what's inside that's different. So Honda actually tweaked a lot of stuff, including the valves, the pistons, the springs, the camshafts, the inlet manifold, and of course the mapping. But yeah, it made some big difference, I'll tell you that for certain. So this actually now has 215 brake horsepower in comparison to the 197 that you find in the standard EP3s. And mated to that, we have a 6-speed manual gearbox. But unlike the EP3s in the UK, this has a limited slip diff as standard. Why the EP3s in the UK did not have that as a factory option or just as standard, I do not know, but it makes a hell of a difference. And the exhaust, yeah, the exhaust looks the same, but they actually made changes to that as well, being the cat slightly smaller. Reason because the emissions in Japan are not the same as the UK. If so, they are actually a lot less strict than the UK cars. But yeah, it is amazing. And unfortunately, a lot of you guys in the last comparison said, go and give him a drive, go and give him a drive. But unfortunately, I can't take this out because A, I'm not insured, and B, it isn't my car, and it would be unfair for me to go and drive it first before Aaron does, because of course I'm filming this before the reveal happens. But yeah, it is quite special to behold with this car. It's wicked. And of course the big difference I feel is that it's got a hood release thing, so you can actually keep the hood up, whereas Mr. Miyagi, it doesn't, so you have to use whatever you can find to prop the bonnet open. But yeah, let's go and sit in the interior and show you if there's anything different in the interior, because I can tell you for certain there isn't. But let's go and have a look anyway. Olaf. Oh. Whew. I'll tell you what, guys, it's lovely to sit in a well-trimmed, fully trimmed EP3, unlike Mr. Miyagi. But yeah, it is lovely in here. Of course, as I sarcastically previously mentioned, it is no different to a UK EP3. However, the carpets are different, so I'll give Honda that. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame really, because although the paintwork's different and you could only get it in a JDM EP3, it would have been nice if there were some differences inside the interior. Of course, you've got the Japanese layout of indicators, but that's because it was a Japanese car. So what I mean by that is you've got the indicators on the right instead of the left, and the windscreen controls, instead of being on the right, they're on the left. You get my drift. What I mean by differences being a little bit drab in here is the seats, for one, because these are actually the seats that you can get in the Premier Edition. If you don't know what they are, you can see it in the previous video where I showed off the seats in the standard EP3. And of course they were in my car once upon a time, but they're long gone now. But yeah, when I was speaking to Jamie at Talk GT, he actually said, yeah, these were actually factory fitted. So they weren't changed throughout its lifetime, they were from factory, which is a shame because they should have actually put in the all red Recaros that you find in the DC2 or the DC5. I just feel it would have made it a little bit different to a standard EP3. As I said, yes, the colour and the car itself gives it away, but sitting inside you wouldn't think you were in the JDM EP3, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think other than that, there's not really too much to talk about the interior. I think the biggest differences are the handling and the chassis, and of course the engine stuff. That's changed from the UK EP3. There's no point showing you the boot because the boot is exactly the same, and I'm not going to give any satisfaction of showing me clumber into a boot. Just not going to do that. And I suppose we should go back to Mr. Miyagi and just cover some little highlights, because yeah, there's no point just talking about Olaf all day, is there? No. But yeah, Aaron is a lucky boy indeed. Leave in the comments if you think Aaron is a lucky boy, because yeah, he certainly has. He's got a brilliant wife, because his wife actually put a hard-earned cash down on this thing. Oh, wish I had a wife like her. But yeah, let's go and jump in Mr. Miyagi and chat about him for a bit. Before moving on to Mr. Miyagi, just to recap on what he has, I thought I'd relate back to interior even though I'm on the exterior of the car. So with the UK EP3s, you get pretty much standard headlights, whereas with the JDM versions, you get HIDs, so you can actually see a bluey, you can see like a bluey surround inside the main headlight. In addition, you also get power fold mirrors, believe it or not, power fold mirrors on a 2005 Honda Civic. It's absolutely amazing. I don't think you could ever actually get power fold mirrors on a UK version, but yeah, there's something actually wrong with the power fold mirrors on this particular car, which I've spoken to Patsy to get sorted. But yeah, it's wicked, absolutely wicked. Have power fold mirrors on your Civic. But yeah, let's get back to Mr. Miyagi. So guys, a quick review over Mr. Miyagi, because I don't want to bore you to death with all the info, because you can already find that in the previous comparison video. But yeah, just a quick overview. I had it wrapped a few months ago, or well, I don't even know how long now, but the wrap itself is Intense Blue by Hexis, and it was wrapped by some good friends of mine who were actually featured on Yanni's channel. Again, you can find details in the video of this actually getting wrapped. But yeah, this Mr. Miyagi actually gets used on track now, so it's no longer registered on the road because it's unbearable to drive. It's just, yeah, you can't use it on the road anymore with the diff, the suspension. Yeah, a lot of money has gone into this thing. The exterior anyway is completely different to a JDM EP3, let alone a UK EP3. But also the engine's a lot different. So this engine's actually even more powerful than a JDM engine, but it would be awesome to have the JDM engine in this. So it could be even more powerful, because more power is more power. But yeah, no, it's definitely a great piece of kit on the track. I'd recommend anyone that's got an EP3, do lots of suspension stuff before power, because suspension just makes it quicker alone. It makes you feel like you have 15 brake more horsepower than actually doing anything to the engine itself. So with the engine, it was tuned by JCal Calibration, or Jesse for short. A lot of you guys should know him. He's, I think, the best guy tuning Hondas, hands down. Not only does he know what he's doing, he's actually a friendly guy, and you can talk to him for days about Hondas, and he just, yeah, he listens to you, answers your questions, and so forth. Interior, again, as I said, it's been fully stripped out. Gone the stainless steering wheel, gone the seats, gone the back seats. It's now fitted with a roll cage from SW Motorsport. SW Motorsport also running Civic Cup. So these roll cages were actually built for the Civic Cup. So yeah, we've got all the door bars, so it's lovely and safe. The seats are used Corbeau Club Sports. So they're a good, cheap track day seat. So they're not FIA or MSA approved, but they are only £200, including VAT. So you're not paying for pole position seats, which are made by Recaro, and they're like £800. But again, they're TÜV approved. They've got FIA and MSA approved certification, so you can actually use them for racing. Whereas for me, I'm not doing that. Strictly track days, so they're perfect. And of course, they look exactly like pole positions, but without Recaro, instead they say Corbeau on them. Got harnesses, again, made by Luke, who Corbeau own. So I'm going to speak to Corbeau about a discount code, so you guys can buy harnesses at a discounted rate. Unfortunately, the Club Sports, you can't get a discount on them because they're made to order. So if you ring up Corbeau and you say you want a Club Sport, you may be lucky to get into their production period. So they have different weeks where they put production for these seats. Yeah, it's quite complicated, but you can't just go and pick them off the shelf. Yeah, other than that, it's just the stripped out track day / race car. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, a lot more things are going to be happening. I'm looking at getting a big wing for the back. You probably think that's gay, but I quite like it. It'd be good to know what you guys would like to see happen on Mr. Miyagi next. So please do leave your comments in the description below. But yeah, other than that, there's not really too much more I can talk about really, because I'm even boring myself to death explaining Mr. Miyagi. So yeah, it's again quite cool to have both these cars in the same place together. It's just quite weird and cool at the same time. I wish this was mine, I really do. Of course this is mine, but I wish I had the JDM one as well. It'd make a good combo. You've got a track car and then you've got an everyday usable car. So yeah, I'm waffling now. I'm quite upset. And boof, here we are, back with Olaf. And unfortunately, it's time to say goodbye, not only to Olaf, but to Mr. Miyagi on today's video. Yeah, it's been a pleasure working with both Aaron and Patsy in sourcing this beautiful thing. Not only am I privileged to be asked to be part of this opportunity, it's also blessed to be trusted to have this thing for a week before its unveiling. Of course, as I said, this is before Aaron sees the car for the first time. But yeah, Olaf is beautiful, an absolutely pristine condition car. and I hope Aaron enjoys it and looks after it. But yeah, I'm about to sign out. So before I do, please subscribe, like, and of course comment. I'd like to hear your feedback on what you think of Olaf and what you'd like to see in the near future with Mr. Miyagi and other bits in terms of content. If you'd like me to do anything, it'd be great if you left it in the comments below. But yeah, I think that's time to tune out. So take care and see you all in the near future. Thanks guys, bye.